Okay, so I've been doing a lot of research on CFS and ME because for the last few years I think that that's what I've been struggling with, but I can't be sure because my doctors won't diagnose me, although to be fair, I guess even if they did, you still wouldn't really know since it's only diagnosable by elimination of all other possibilities. So I've been in the process of that for the past year and a half or maybe 2 years. It's kind of hard because I lose track of time easily, so I'm not really 100% sure, but yeah, I just have been especially recently, coming across more videos on YouTube of people talking about their experiences with it, and finally found out about what is her name? I feel like she did a TED talk about having chronic fatigue, and here we go.
If you're a web designer, here are four.
Jennifer Bree. So I had never heard of her before a couple days ago, which was disappointing, but I'm glad I found her and her documentary and stuff. That was really awesome to see. I mean, it's upsetting and depressing, but it's relieving in other ways, I guess, because as anyone with the symptoms of chronic fatigue knows, it's really hard to just feel like there's other people who experience this, especially when no one in your immediate circle does. And when it's so hard to get people to believe what you're saying and what you're experiencing, I guess. However, upon discovering all this good YouTube content of people talking about their personal experiences, I've kind of gotten into a space of, what do you call that, imposter syndrome, or feeling like maybe I've been wrong the whole time and that I don't have this chronic illness because I have more capacity than basically all of the people I've been seeing in these documentaries. I mean, I feel like obviously for documentary purposes and stuff, you're always going to interview the most severe cases because it's the most shocking, and it's, I think, at least in my opinion, it's a lot harder to deny someone's experiences when they literally are falling down or can't get out of bed at all, or stuff like that. But it's making me kind of feel now like maybe I'm full of shit, but then I don't know what the fuck I have if it's not this, because I don't know, man. So anyways, I just wanted to talk about my own experiences and see if anyone out there relates, and maybe find people to talk to who have more mild forms of chronic fatigue syndrome, because basically I've been losing capacity to do regular work basically since I graduated university. I would even say a little bit before then, but I just saw it as autistic burnout, although I only just got diagnosed with autism. that's another thing before I go ahead is like, sorry, most of the people that I'm seeing talking about this are like, oh, I don't have any like mental disorder, I don't have any mental illness, and like everyone's trying to diagnose me with depression and all this stuff, and I really feel for that. But I also have like the opposite experience where like I do truly believe and accept my diagnoses of mental illness. They've been much more long-standing than whatever this is. But I am questioning now whether I really have ADHD, or if those symptoms of like not being able to concentrate and like extreme daytime sleepiness, etc., are actually caused by CFS and not ADHD, because there's a lot of weird overlap, but it's coming from different things, you know? So, yeah, like my diagnoses are like clinical depression, anxiety, generalized anxiety, ADHD, and autism. And I've also believed myself to have BPD, or borderline personality disorder. I'm not sure if I actually ever qualified, but there's a lot of things in my life, specifically with relationships, that align with that. However, I also have been super codependent. I'm hopefully in recovery codependent. And I also have wondered whether I truly am codependent or if I just have a severely anxious attachment style. However, I'm not only anxiously attached, I'm also like avoidantly attached. So I don't know if that came from healing from the anxious attachment, because that's common that you go kind of 180 over to the other because you're in such hyper resistance to the traits of the initial attachment. At least that's what I've heard and what I've come to believe through my own experiences. Anyways, all that extra stuff. So when it comes to like myalgic encephalomyelitis, I'm tired all the fucking time. I have been struggling with extreme fatigue for at least 3 years. I have come to believe that it's from having long COVID, although I was never like diagnosed as having long COVID, but I've had like active COVID 3 times, even though I was getting immunized regularly and taking precautions. I guess I just am like super susceptible to it, and I got it like earlier than most people that I knew. I got it not right at the beginning, but like almost immediately after being let go from my job in like 2021. I got it, and I lost my sense of smell and taste entirely, like completely, 100%, for like almost a year. Like it slowly came back after like 3 to 6 months, but it was like such tiny increments. Like initially I could genuinely put a perfume bottle open up my nose and not smell anything. I couldn't taste any food because I couldn't smell, or at least that's how I associated things with. Like I could dump salt on things and it would just be like tasteless. It was so weird. Very glad to have my taste back. And yeah, so basically after that first infection, I think was probably the onset of this, but like I didn't know what was going on or understand it, and also I was off of work, at least on and off, for so long that I don't think it really like hit home. But then in 2022, like at near the end of 2022, I finally got a sick leave from my job, which was serving at the time. I had started that job in May, May, June-ish, and basically monthly I would get sick. I got sick at least once a month, like so sick that I couldn't go in, and I just kept like declining the amount of shifts that I had. So I started out with like 4 or 5 like full time, and then it went down to like 3 or 4, and then down to like 2 or 3, and then down to 1 or 2, and yeah, it was just like, and it was quite fast, and like I just was really struggling to keep up with anything, and it was really hard because I could be right in front of people and they still wouldn't believe me. Like I would be feeling that way, but they still would be having a hard time. They'd be like, okay, well just like finish this or just finish that, and I'd be like, I like literally feel like I can't, and they'd be like, well just do so. And I don't know if it's because of like my upbringing or like my masking from my autism or what, but like I'm very over capable of like pushing myself, and I'm still that way. Like I don't know if that means that I just like don't have the illness as bad as other people or what it means, but like I will be like dead tired, feel like I'm gonna pass out, and I can push through for hours and hours as long as I'm not standing or moving. Like if I'm on a couch or, you know, laying on the ground or something. I've also noticed that I can work longer hours if I work from bed. So the other day I pulled like almost a full 8-hour shift by like laying down and doing computer stuff, with breaks of course and like whatnot, but like usually I can't do that. I would say I max out around 3 hours, but I say 5 because technically I can push to 5 hours at work. And that's like the shortest shift I can get, basically. I only work physically, like in real life, 1 day a week, which is supposed to go up to 2.
Fuck my life.
Oh my god, sorry. I didn't take my 5 ads yet. Maybe I should do that. Okay, 1 sec. Okay, I'm back. I definitely wish I would have scripted this video now.
Too bad. So sad.
I think that every single time I try to make a video or a podcast episode, which is why I don't release anything, because I never find the capacity to script it, and then I either just give up or
You get what you get.
So basically, watching all these people with really severe chronic fatigue is making me feel, well, first of all, very privileged and like grateful that I still have a lot more capacity, it seems, even if it doesn't feel like that amazing to me because it's still so much less than what I used to have, but I don't know, like I have found myself like questioning, like, oh, am I just like making myself this way because I don't want to work? I'm very like anti-work, and like, oh, maybe I am just like giving in to something inside of me that's been there forever and just like wants me to give up. But like, then when I think about it, like, I would like give anything to be able to just like do the things I want to do without being scared that I'm gonna run out of energy, or like that I won't be able to go to work because I did it. Like, I don't go to anything anymore. Like, I don't go out to anything that happens at night, let alone in the day. I don't know why I said at night. I also don't go to anything in the day, but you know, I'd be more likely to go in the daytime if it felt doable. But like, I used to be like a night owl, and I used to work at bars and work at a club, and I used to go see drag all the time, and like see, okay, all the time is exaggerating, but you know, at least a couple times a month, or like I would be in drag shows at least a couple times a month, and therefore I would be out. Now I literally don't go to anything unless I'm in it, and I avoid being in stuff because now that I have a job that is in the daytime, I can't trust myself to like go do that thing and then not get burnt out and fuck up my sleep schedule entirely for work, which literally just happened this weekend. I did a brunch show on Saturday, and then a friend of mine was visiting from Vancouver, so I ended up hanging out with him and some other friends for like the rest of the day. Even though I was really tired after the drag brunch, I like, you know, decided I would push through because I never get to see him, and it had been like 2 years since we seen each other, so yeah, like, and we could sit most of the time, so that was good. And then we ended up staying up until like 4 in the morning on the couch, like watching music videos and talking, and I was like hardly there, but you know, I managed. Like, I was still like kind of awake that whole time, and it's been a really, really long time since I've done that. I don't know if any of you find that you like kind of come and go with capacity. Like, I've read a lot of places that for people it fluctuates, but then when I watch these videos of people like not being able to walk upstairs and stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I don't have this, because like I haven't needed to crawl up the stairs or like crawl to the bathroom. Like, I just get up and go. Like, I do find it hard to get up a lot of the times. Like, I will wait until I need to go to the bathroom like urgently to go, or like until I've thought about something enough that I'm stressed out enough that like I don't know, like shoots like my brain into action after it's been going on for long enough. Like, I don't like that anxiety, so I guess that benefits me in some ways. Anyways, I was talking about the weekend. So yeah, we were up until like 4, and then I really didn't sleep well because I didn't have my CPAP machine with me or my meds, but I was like, there was no way I could drive like safely at all, so I just stayed and slept maybe like 8 hours. was like didn't really feel like sleep, you know. It was like just resting barely enough to sort of like charge like up to like maybe 5% or something. And the next day I was supposed to go walk a dog because that's my other job. So I went downtown to go do that, but then it got canceled. But it took forever for the lady to let me know, so I had hit up a friend who lives down there, and we ended up hanging out a bit. And then when I found out it was canceled, he wanted to go to the river and hang out with some other friends. And even though I was like, oh my god, I literally like really overdid it yesterday and I know that this is gonna slaughter me, I like caved and went with anyways, just because like I don't know, I just haven't done stuff like that in a really long time, and it was kind of energizing in a different way to like get to hang out with people again. And I was like, maybe this is like good for me, maybe I should do this, maybe this is what will help me or something, you know. Like I've spent all my weekends, even though they're off, like working on other stuff on my computer or like doing art, stuff like that, because I can't really do it like around work. Like the days that I work or like that I'm training on the computer or something, that's all I can do is that, and like maybe eat, but not really cook, only like eat. Like anyways, so yeah, I did that unwisely. I ended up staying out with them until 9 p.m. because they ended up eating together, and I was like, well, I'm hungry and I may as well eat with you and then go.
Listen, I feel like I should explain myself a little bit.
So I did that, and then I got home and basically crashed and like just went to bed. I think, I don't know, maybe I'm not right, but I think that's what happened. Like I got home, I went to bed, just slept until the next day, and I had dog walks the next day, so I was up around probably 11 or noon and left to go take my dogs. I was like so tired, I really honestly could have canceled, but I just like felt like I needed to push through because they were expecting me, and I often don't really feel like I have a good enough excuse to like not pull through, and it's so hard to explain. Like I don't even bother trying to explain to these people what I think I have, because I don't know, I just don't, it doesn't look like anything, and I don't think they'll understand, and it's too long.
It's just too much.
So I did that. That was like an hour, and then I came home and went to bed basically. Yeah. So it was probably like 2 hours of being awake and like half hour driving there, hour walking, and then half hour back, and then got home and ate something and went to bed. I had groceries delivered, and it took me about a half hour to finally get up and go get them. That's another one of those things that makes me feel like an imposter though, because it's like I was still able to eventually like force myself to get up and go move them inside, because I knew I had frozen stuff and that was melting in the sun. And I was like, you have to go get it. I know you don't want to, and you like feel like you can't, but you have to do it. And eventually I did. But yeah, I don't know. Like, you guys see what I mean? Like, it's like I am struggling, but I will make things happen, if that makes sense. I did, however, after that, go to bed from like 3 p.m. until the next day, basically. And I woke up just like barely in time to go take myself to appointments I needed to go to. My appointment was at 11 a.m. I woke up at like 10:30 on Tuesday, and the appointments were all I did. I got back and basically went to bed. And then I took work off the next day because I just felt like I could tell that I was not going to like survive it, basically. Or like, I knew I could handle like an hour, but I couldn't handle 4.5 hours. But then I felt so guilty because then later, like Wednesday night, I was feeling awake and I was up for like 5 or 6 hours. I mean, all of it laying down, so maybe that's like not really the same as being awake enough to go do like a standing job for like 4 hours with driving, etc. But it's hard for me to not think of it that way. Yeah, I don't know. There's so much more to go into and to say, but I think like I've made sort of my point, and I'm just like curious about other people who feel like they have this or are diagnosed with this, who aren't as severely disabled but still like disabled, and like I don't know what to do because I'm so financially screwed if I don't work because I can't get on disability benefits without like proof of some sort of actual thing going on. But my doctors are still trying to figure out what else it could maybe be. And I don't know what to do because it's like, and I don't know, maybe I'm getting better. It doesn't feel like it, but like, I don't know. I'm also just like so scared to become more severely disabled. Like, I don't want to have to not be able to walk at all. I don't want to have to sit in bed literally all day, every day. Like, I would rather do something about this, or like get financial assistance before it gets that way, so that at least I can do the things I want to do instead of only doing the things that just like are barely helping me scrape by, like survival wise. Yeah, I mean, I didn't talk much about brain fog in this, but that's like a huge thing for me. Like, on the weekend that I was just mentioning, like a good half of it or more was spent in brain fog, but luckily like everyone around me was drunk, so they didn't care. And like, you know, you can kind of just sit there and zonk out. Like, it's not like I had to be like on, like it wasn't working, or like I was getting kind of frustrated because I wanted to draw or like do something, but I couldn't really focus enough to, or like think about it enough to do that. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm so curious about other people's experiences and what their stuff looked like, and if any of these like people with way more severe chronic fatigue / ME like started out like this and like declined into that, or if it was like boom boom, you know, like it started and it was bad, end of story, you know? Like, I think this video is now like 20 minutes long, so I'm gonna stop it, but I will likely make another
Oh, goody.
video or podcast episode on this topic, because I think that it's what's affecting me, and I don't know. But yeah, for now, I will peace out.
Well, thank God that's over.